Okay, you're ready.
Great, thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our meeting today for ART. It is August the 6th. We have no minor modifications, but we do have minutes to approve for July the 30th. I didn't see any revisions or anything come through for that. Does anybody have any corrections for that set of minutes? Okay, so with that, we will approve those minutes. Everybody in agreement with that? Could you please answer in the affirmative?
Yes.
Yes.
Anybody opposed? Okay. And then we have today only one case on the agenda, which is an introduction and determination for Ivy Brook. And Zach is going to be our presenter for that. So go ahead, Zach, and you can provide your presentation. And then following that, we'll let the applicant share any additional information that they have. Thanks a lot.
Perfect. Thank you, Jenny. Good afternoon. This is an application for a minor project for the location at the southwest corner of West Dublin Granville Road and Sawmill Road. This location is occupied by Ivy Brook Academy, and it is zoned Bridge Street District Commercial. To give you some background on the existing conditions of the site, both the first two photos give you an idea of the space that will be occupied by an outdoor classroom. The outdoor classroom use was approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission in July for the location of it, as well as the use forward of the building along the sawmill right away. And the third photo would be existing shrubs. These are important to the applicant to show today, as these are the plantings that the applicant is proposing to use to screen the fence that they are proposing. So as stated, this application, or the applicant was before the Planning and Zoning Commission in July for the space that is highlighted in green on that image. They were approved for an approximately 1,500 square foot outdoor classroom that would sit forward of the building, which is, that would be to the east of the building. Today, the applicant is proposing an approximately 800 square foot addition. This would be the same fencing material. The applicant is proposing a 4-foot tall black aluminum fence, as this was a condition on the approval for the Planning and Zoning Commission. And they will also be proposing evergreen screening that would screen the black aluminum fence all the way around. The site plan does only show it on the north and east sides of the approved outdoor classroom. So planning staff has added a condition of approval that they would continue to work with staff to determine the best screening material and locations for the screening plantings throughout the entire outdoor classroom. The addition is to help with the operations. As you can see, there are doors that come from the classrooms on the south side of the building. They wanted to enclose these to make sure that it was safe for students and for the teachers to get to the outdoor classroom space. Planning staff has reviewed this application to all applicable minor project review criteria and are recommending approval with one condition, that the applicant continue to work with staff to finalize screening locations and planting materials around the entire outdoor classroom space. If the board has any questions for staff, I'm happy to answer them. If not, the applicant is here to address the case. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Zach. Does anybody have any questions for Zach before I let the applicant share any additional information that they have?
What was the distance off the property line on that back edge?
About 5.5 feet. So they're required to have 5 feet from the side yard and rear yard.
Is that going to be screened as well?
Yes, we would require it to. So that's part of the condition, is that they would continue to include the screening along that southern edge of the fence.
Okay.
Zach, could you explain why this is at ART and why they're not going back to Planning Commission for this area?
Absolutely. So the addition of this fence is within a permitted area. So fencing for these recreation outdoor recreational uses, such as a playground that you would see for a typical daycare, are permitted to be in the side and rear yard. The reason that it was before the Planning and Zoning Commission originally is that they were proposing it in the front, technically the front of the building along that sawmill frontage. So that is what they received approval for initially. Because this meets all zoning criteria, that is why this portion.
Okay, thank you. That's helpful to clarify. And again, the green box that Planning Commission approved, and then the new area that they're showing, it'll be one cohesive fence line, right? It's not going to be divided into different areas.
Correct. Originally, they had shown, if this pulls up, that there was going to be a fence that edged off onto the building and it was parallel with the facade. They are removing that and it'll just be one continuous fence line.
Okay. All right, thank you. That's helpful. Does the applicant have any additional comments or questions or information that you want to provide to us?
Yes. Hello, everyone. Evan with Ivory Brook. I'm the owner. So originally, as Zach had said, I think there was a little bit of miscommunication. We had thought that that was approved on the backside. So when we previously went, we were told, if you want the front, the front approved, you're going to have to get that approved. So on our part, we just showed, hey, this is the area that we want approved, thinking that the back would just be already approved. Hence why we're here today. So you can see the back of it. It goes up against the Trader Joe's parking lot. There are burning bushes on their lot that go up the whole side. I just wanted to give you an image. Zach showed the image, which kind of looks back there. It'll be a 4-foot fence, consistent with what was approved up front. I showed the evergreens as well. If you're familiar with the site, those evergreens go all the way pretty much around the parking lot. And, I could work with Zach or whomever, but I would stay consistent with what is there. And then if you see the picture on the south of the building, we'll have 4 of our classrooms back there. So that'd be a 4-foot fence that just barely goes above that 3-foot concrete wall. And that's just really a safety thing for the kids when they exit. We'll have the whole outdoor area to work with, and not having to walk them over to the picture of the southeast view area. But I'm happy to answer any questions specifically to kind of the back side of the building, or any questions that you may have.
Okay, well, that's really helpful to see that picture and understand how you plan to use that. So you won't even, in the end, with that 3-foot wall and the hedge on top of it, you won't leave it. Okay.
That I call it the Trader Joe's site. That concrete wall is 3 feet. So we sit down 3 feet from kind of that parking lot. So we'll have a 4-foot fence that kind of basically goes a foot above that concrete wall. There's burning bushes that go on the Trader Joe's side, the whole side of everything. And then you can see how wooded kind of that area is. And I would stay consistent with the existing evergreens up front, just to give some blockage to the black aluminum fence that Dublin wanted.
Okay. And Zach, just so I'm clear on the condition of approval, are we recommending that we're not, I guess, recommending that they then put the hedge between the concrete wall and their fence, or are we? Yes.
So
you can't see it already. They don't have to add it, I guess, is what I'm trying to ask. Yeah.
Right. And that's the way that I had worded it, was more of just a catch-all for our landscaping staff to determine what would be best to screen. If, ART team wants to make a recommendation there that they don't have to screen that, then you all certainly can do that.
Claudia, what's your recommendation on that? I'm thinking if there's already something, at least on some parts, that's screening it, I don't know if it's necessary to be there the whole way. I don't know how everybody else feels about that. On the edges where you can see it, it would make sense to add something, but I don't want to suggest something different than what the code would permit.
Yeah, and I think that's where our condition was supposed to be leading into, is that we would let our landscape staff sort of go out there and field locate where it makes sense to landscaping. that was the intent. If that's not clear, then we should probably clarify it a little bit.
My only question with that would be is that we don't have, so say something were to change in Trader Joe's, then if that goes away, then we don't have anything. So I guess typically you'd want each property owner to have their own screen, and that way we're protected both sides.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
I can tell you from my perspective too, we're talking about preschool kids. So if God forbid all those burning bushes decided Trader Joe's is like, we don't like them anymore and we're going to pull them, I can tell you from my end as an owner, and with kids going there, I absolutely would go back to ART to get a screening. So it's not like I'm not willing to add something, but
Sure.
God forbid those ever do go away. I feel the exact same way that everyone else does, just because of the safety of the kids. So.
On the flip side, I'll add too, it's going to be hard to get stuff growing back there because it is all shaded. It's not going to be easy. I just wanted to point out from the standpoint of if one goes away, then we won't have any. So for what it's worth.
Yeah, no, that's helpful. I wondered that too, actually. And again, if you're trying to plant between a concrete wall and a fence, that may not work either. So, I mean, I think we could leave it as it is. Maybe it's subject to staff approval, and then we could work through that, like you said, just to have some flexibility on either end.
Can you just have a condition in our document, approval document, basically said that some sort of screening has to be maintained, whether it's on their side of the fence or not?
Okay, that would work. Or yeah, or something to the effect of, should that other adjacent property screening go away, that something be installed here, we could do it that way too.
Yeah, there's no reason to.
And I'm absolutely fine with that as well.
Okay, well, let's do that then, because then that sort of covers all our bases. So
does this new fencing affect egress at all out of any of the classrooms, and the width of that versus what might be placed inside this fencing area?
Yeah, that was my question too, because I see there's a one gate at the west end. Is that the only exit out of that area? Because those classrooms open into that area. That's part of their egress path.
Yeah, so there'll be two gates. There's one at the west end, and then one that was approved on kind of the southeast side up front. So the basically two exits from each side, one from each side.
Okay,
does that work for both of you?
works for me.
Is there going to be equipment or anything in that area that's going to block that normal path of egress, or is it just going to be an open area?
So if our last meeting, so we're there will be no like large type equipment, where this is really considered an outdoor classroom for us. This is not a jungle gym player area. I'm going to work with Zach. Eventually we would like to add some small picnic tables and just some smaller things just to help when we bring experiments outside. But this is not jungle gym slides. This is truly an outdoor classroom for us. Yeah. And so I'll work with Zach when that time comes. But for now, we're not doing anything just because of the weather and everything like that right now. So.
Okay, and Brad could probably speak a little bit more to this too, but you'll at least have to maintain, if that's your path of egress from the classroom, you'll at least have to maintain the width of the exit or the gate itself, as far as it being unobstructed.
Yep, absolutely. Yes.
Do you need that to be
Sorry.
Your plan is to keep grass in there, or what kind of surface?
That was a question I was going to ask.
We are going to play this by ear because now with, 15 kids running around. If you've seen the pictures, it's very hard to grow grass back there right now because of how wooded it is. It is spotty, so to be determined if we would love to keep grass, just because our school and our philosophy is we're very much hands-on, very much about plant care, environment. So the more we can keep a natural feel to it is what we would like. So it will be kept as grass for now. That certainly could change, but we're going to do everything in our power to keep the grass growing.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I know grass is going to be hard to grow back there as well. A lot of the shade tolerant grasses are not going to take foot traffic. So I was wondering if there's going to be paving of sorts or mulch or what that may end up being, because I assume the trees will stay.
Correct. All the trees are staying. So we're going to play it by ear a little bit to see if we can't. We're not talking about adults out there either, but yes, we're going to play that by ear. We would like to keep it as natural as possible. In fact, this is one of the reasons why we picked this location, is because even though it is on a very, very busy corner of Columbus, you don't find a location like this with as much landscaping as trees as this one. And that's actually why we sought this location out. So.
That's helpful background. Chad, do you need a condition of approval to deal with the egress concerns that you have, or you think that can just be worked out?
I think we can work it out in our annual inspection, and we'll touch base with them once they get opened up.
Okay, that sounds good. Brad, do you have any concerns or anything you need addressed?
Yeah, that's good. It just probably just from practical purpose, if it stays dirt out there, then you'd be tracking mud in the room. So maybe some kind of natural pathway might be a good solution if it doesn't grow.
Okay, yeah, and you can always work with Zach on that too, Evan, just to figure out if there's another solution we can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do that. So, okay. All right, so then we have one condition already that does say sort of working, that indicates working with staff on the landscape material. I would then, I don't know if Zach, did you type another one? Okay, perfect. Okay, so then we'll add this second condition about requiring screening.
And one other question I thought of. So the gate at the end obviously is going to be unlocked during business hours, or both those gates?
Is that you're asking?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We will have pretty much a classroom. So we have 6 classrooms in the building. But the outside doors will be locked. We will have basically a classroom kind of circling in and out. One will be outside at all time if weather permits. Otherwise, they'll be inside the gym. So yes, they'll be unlocked for obviously safety purposes.
Okay. And you can always put obviously maybe a closable, self-closable, latchable type gate like you do around a pool, just so
right.
And a latch up higher so the smaller kids obviously can't grab it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay. Any other things, Brad, you want to
No,
ask?
I'm good with that.
Okay.
As long as they remain open at all times when they're open.
Okay. Renee, do you have any questions or comments? No. Okay.
No.
Thank you. Chad, do you have anything else?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Aaron, you have anything?
I'm good.
Okay. Sean?
Good.
Okay, great. Okay, well, with that, then we'll recommend approval then with the 2 conditions, the one that Zach added regarding the requirement of screening along that. So if everybody's in agreement with that, then I will call for a vote. So all those in favor of recommending approval of this with 2 conditions, answer in the affirmative.
Yes.
Yes.
Anybody opposed? Okay. And I didn't say this before, but we don't have any public comment on this application either. I should have asked for that beforehand, but I verified it. So and I don't have any other business at this point. Evan, thank you very much for meeting with us and talking this through. We look forward to getting you guys continuing moving here. So
Yes, absolutely. You feel free to come. Our grand opening will be pretty much the first week in September. So feel free to come. This is I think you'll be surprised at how unique our preschool is versus some of the other traditional ones. So feel free to stop in when you ever have a second.
great. Thank you very much.
Thanks for your time.
Yep. Okay, well, with that, then we are adjourned. Thank you all very much, and give Kyle here a second, or Nikki